10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 474. Hey everybody, welcome back to the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 474, new month, new series. And this month we're going to do something really kind of fun and very beneficial. This is one of the best ways to practice, in my opinion, and I do it all the time. So when we play jazz, a lot of times we get into sort of these really complicated chord progressions where there's a ton going on. But here's the thing about jazz, and we kind of know this already, is that most tunes, well, I don't know if I should say most, a lot of tunes are just rehashes of the same chord progressions, just sort of pasted together in a different way or slightly different from the other 10 tunes that kind of use like the same general idea, but different things happen in different places. So, this tune is exactly like this other tune except for this one bar. And the more that you can start to see that and understand that so many tunes are so similar, it makes learning tunes a lot easier because you start to see and hear some of these big trends within the tunes. Like, that's just that progression. So here's like a really good example. There's a thing that jazz musicians call the Fats Waller Bridge, or another thing they'll call it is the Honeysuckle Rose Bridge, right? And what that basically means is that we get done with the A section on the one chord, and then all of a sudden that one chord becomes the 5 of 4. Which goes to the 4, and then we come down 5 of 5. 5. Right? So there's these really common things where, let's say that I'm on a gig with a musician and they call a tune and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that tune, except what's the bridge? Somebody might say to me, it's Honeysuckle Rose Bridge, or that's the Fats Waller Bridge, right? And then I know what they're talking about. So it's really important that we understand some of these common harmonic movements that happen in jazz and music at large. And what I'd like to do this month is I would like to go over a couple of those really important ones and actually practice them in isolation. And not only are we going to just practice the chord progression, what we're going to do is we're going to do it in a slightly different feel to give you some room to play over it without being like stressed out, which happens a lot in jazz. And we're also going to practice some singing, some voice leading. And this is what's really going to put it on steroids. If you practice singing these voice leading lines before you practice improvising over some of these essential chord progressions, you are really going to start to hear the chord movement, the harmonic movement in these progressions that I'm about to show you. And then you're going to be able to hear those same harmonic movements in the wild when you actually hear them in songs. And it's going to be pretty amazing what you will start to hear if you focus in on some of these really important foundational harmonic movements, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to first go over a different essential progression every week. Then I'm going to show you the voice leading that really brings out these chord progressions. And then what I'll give everybody in the Patreon is the backing tracks for these progressions so that you can play over them over and over again. You can practice that singing, that ear training, and then I'll also give you some trading tracks so that we can bounce off of each other as we play through these progressions. All right, so let's get into the first one. This week, we're going to deal with the key of concert C major, and the progression is going to be a really common one, which is 1, going to 5 of 4, which then goes to 4. And then all we're going to do is we're going to play a 2-5-1 back to 1. So listen to that whole thing. Okay, so let's think about that for a second. When the 1 chord, so it's C major 7, what that's doing is it's turning into C7. Why? Because C7 is the 5 of F, which is where we're going. So you hear how once that C major 7 turns into C7, it almost signals to your ear, hey, we're going somewhere else. And where we're going is F major. And then to get ourselves back to C major, logically, we're just going to do D minor 7 to G7, back to C. Okay? So this is a really, really essential chord progression, because a lot of the time we see in tunes, we move to the 4 chord, right? Be that on the bridge or somewhere within the form. That's a very, very, very common thing. I mean, think about the blues, right? In bar 5, we go to the 4 chord. I mean, that Fats Waller bridge is exactly that, right? We're moving to the 4. Think about, take the A Train. The bridge goes to the 4. I could come up with, hundreds of other examples. But this is a really important chord movement that I want you to be able to hear and play over and really stretch out on this. Because once you have some skills over this, it's going to come in really, really handy for so many things that you're going to play when you're on gigs or playing with friends or, actually doing the thing, actually playing jazz. Now, as far as the voice leading goes, we have a lot of options, but I'm just going to pick one that I think really, if you can sing this and you can carry this through the progression and have this in your ears as a preliminary thing that you're hearing, this is really going to pay off. All right, so warm up those vocal cords as I talk about what the voice leading is, and then we're going to sing it together, okay? So if we think about the first chord, and we think about the 7th of that C major 7, we're playing B natural. And then when we go to C7, we just move it to B flat. Now, when we go to F major, we're going to move that B flat to an A. So you see how we have those nice 3 half steps. B to B flat to A natural. Then what we're going to do is over the D minor 7 chord, we're going to jump up to C, which is the 7th of that chord. Then we're going to move that down to B over the G7. And then we're going to stay on that B. So it leads right back into itself, right? Let's hear it all together. So 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Just a really, really nice line. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to sing those notes as we go through this. I'll sing it with you one time, and then I'll leave you some room to do it. So find this note. Da, da. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Da, 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 Okay, now sing it on your own. There's that starting note. 1, 2, ready, go. Great. So I'll have that on a sheet for all the Patreon members, and that would be a great thing to do for the first 4 to 5 go-arounds of the backing track. Sing that, really, really make sure that you're nailing those pitches, and then transfer it onto your instrument, play the voice leading again, and then get to improvising. Now, here's the second part of this that I think is really going to help you, is that the backing track that I'm going to provide to you is not like your traditional swing. It still swings, but it's definitely not your traditional swing. But Nick, I want to play swing. I want to play jazz. Yeah, well, so do I. But I find that when it comes time to really, really deeply develop language, first of all, I want a slow tempo. And you hear this backing track behind me? A really slow tempo, 80, right? But it feels really good. And also, I find that this type of feel is just a lot more open and a lot more relaxed. But it still swings, even though it's not going dang, dang to dang. It still swings, right? And I've given this backing track to a bunch of students. The quality of the vocabulary that they come up with, I don't know, for some reason this backing track just brings out the best in people. So I don't know why it works, but it works. It's just a much, much more relaxed environment to develop some vocabulary. And I find that it just all transfers over to swing music. So why not do something a little bit different, a little bit fun? So I'm going to give you that backing track, and the name of the game this week is to make sure that you are singing. Now, this is the most important thing, okay? Please, please do this. Don't skip this. Sing that voice leading for a couple of rounds of the progression first. Then play it right after you sing it. Then you can just play freely. But you got to do that thing first. It's such a great primer, okay? And that's where really a lot of the benefit is going to come from. So that's it. That's all I want you to do. Now, for the Patreon members, you're going to get the sheet with the voice leading line actually written out on it. So you can just, boom, go and sing it. Find that first note. You're good to go. And then I'll give you a backing track. And then for the $5 members, I'll give you a trading track as well so that you can really, really immerse yourself in this week. Here's the other thing. You really don't need to do this for very long. You could do this. The backing track is like 6 minutes long or something like that, right? If you could do 6 minutes a day for a week, I promise you the level of vocabulary that you're playing over this progression at the beginning of the week versus where you will be after like 7 days of doing it every day, I mean, you're not even going to recognize yourself. So give it a shot and let me know what you think. So if you want to get your hands on all the materials, all the supporting materials from this episode, we are a listener-supported podcast, which means we don't do any kind of advertisements on the show. Instead, we rely on the people getting the benefits out of this stuff, you, the jazz student, to support us and keep this thing going. We do that through the Patreon platform in the form of a very small monthly donation. In return for that donation, you do get worksheets and practice tracks and all kinds of amazing stuff with every single episode. You also get access to our entire back catalog. So you can learn more about that and get yourself signed up for instant access to everything by going to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, and clicking on one of the Patreon banners, or you can go to patreon.com and you could search for the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson. You will see all of the stuff over there, the different donation levels, and all the information on what you get. Thank you so much if you choose to do that. That's really a big deal. Again, that's how we keep these shows coming out. And of course, to everybody over there supporting us, thank you. We could not do this without you. All right, I'm going to play us out a little bit on this chord progression with this backing track, and I hope you're all doing well. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.